Channel. Today we're going to be looking at the chart for Quincy Jones, record producer, composer, arranger, songwriter, legendary. If you look to the eastern horizon when he was born using Vedic sidereal zodiac, you would see the constellation of Leo rising at around 5 degrees. And first we're going to look and see how the planets are operating, then we'll look and see when they're operating and what could be done to strengthen the chart. So first of all, Sun is poorly placed in the 8th Dusthana challenging house. It's in infant state. Any planet less than 5 degrees or more than 25 has trouble promoting its own significations. So Sun is ruling the chart, and it gives life purpose through leadership and researching melodies for movies, etc. And because it's weak, it is the prime indicator for health in his chart. The first house is the body. So he did, and it's also the head. So he had a brain aneurysm, and it weakens the immune system, which affect diabetes. And let's look at the moon. Moon is any multiconal sign, like Cancer, ruling the 12th house, ruled by Moon, is functional malefic and can cause some challenges. Moon is ruling that 12th house has to do with addictions. He had some addictions, and Moon is the indicator for mother, and mother was mentally ill. He has a week afflicted by K2 Mars. Mars is ruling the house of good fortune, and he has good fortune through his passion to create beautiful music. And weak placement of Mercury. Mercury is ruling the house of wealth and fame and continuation of the marital bond, and it's sitting in the 8th house of vulnerability. And it says his wealth can come through his vulnerable musical expression. He did over 50 movie scores and got 28 Grammys, and produced one of the very famous charity songs to raise money for Ethiopia, We Are the World. Weak dispositive Jupiter. Jupiter is sitting in the first house, and because Sun is weak, Jupiter can't be any weaker than its landlord or dispositor. And Jupiter's ruling the 5th house of creativity through entertainment, and gave him the ability to be a record producer, a songwriter, a composer. He worked with Michael Jackson on Thriller, and this Jupiter, weak Jupiter, has to do with can affect diabetes. Weak dispositor Venus. Venus is sitting in the 7th house, ruled by Saturn, Aquarius, ruled by Saturn. Saturn is weak. It's poorly placed in the 6th house, so that makes Venus weak because it can't be any stronger than its landlord as well. And Venus is ruling the house of success through partnerships, sitting in the house of partnerships in creative arts, fine arts, performing arts, healing arts, and also affects diabetes. Weak placement of Saturn. Saturn is ruling the house of partnerships. It is placed in the house of conflict and healing, and he did have a couple of divorces, But his partnerships, he collaborated with Atlantic Records, Michael Jackson, Frank Sinatra, Count Basie, Ella Fitzgerald, and also he had a couple of divorces. Challenging Rahu Ketu, always balancing each other. Ketu in the first, Rahu in the seventh house of partnerships is balancing personal needs with the needs of others. Let's look at the timing of events. In 1947, he met Red Charles, who introduced him to heroin during a moon period. Moon has to do with addictions. And then in 1974, he had a brain aneurysm and surgery and became sober, also during a moon period. Moon ruling the house of surgery. And Ketu at that time was afflicting the moon in the first house. First house is the brain. In 1990, he got a divorce from Peggy Lipton, who was one of the main actors on Mod Squad, and also had a spiritual awakening during a sun period. Now sun, creating transformation, sitting out in the house of transformation and endings. In 92, he got a Grammy Legend, it's called, and only very few people, maybe 15 people, have ever got this award. That was during a Mercury period. Mercury has ruling the house of fame. In 95, got separated from, I think, Kaninsky, who had a longer-term relationship with during a Rahu period. Rahu sitting in the house of marriage or partnerships. In 2015, he went into a diabetic coma, ended up in the hospital during a Rahu period. Rahu creating unexpected events. In 2023, in June 16th, he ended up in the hospital with food poisoning. And that chart on the left, the transit chart, shows that Rahu and Ketu were close to the rising sign degree, meaning that will afflict 6 out of his 12 houses, especially the first house. And Ketu afflicts the moon, which is surgery and hospitals. What could be done to strengthen the chart? Well, he since that date, he's gotten better and he's out of the hospital. Hope he continues to heal and get better. What could be done to strengthen the chart? Charity work for Rahu, Ketu, and helping women, the moon. Those need to be transformed, not strengthened. And the rest of the planets could be strengthened with my favorite remedy, a kavash, which is a silver locket containing the Devata yantras for all of his benefic planets, which is all the planets except Moon, Rahu, and Ketu. If you'd like to order a kavash or get a reading or learn Vedic astrology, you can go to www.vastucreations.com. Thank you so much for listening.